Super Mama, ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hello and welcome to Pushing Desi Culture, the podcast. My name is Sid Pandya, aka DJ Sid the Kid, and we are recording inside MediaWorks Studios in Windsor, Ontario. Today, for episode 3, we've got 3 guests, so I guess it was meant to be. To my right is Mr. Jeewen Gill, Ms. Dilraj Gill, and Ms. Gurneet Kaur. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, so I want to start right off with you, Jeewen. If you can please tell us, as the acting president of the South Asian Center of Windsor, please describe a little bit.
South Asian Center of Windsor is one of the oldest organization built in 1986 to accommodate the needs of the community from Greater India, that is the 1947 era. Before that, the countries belongs to that time frame. So that time we started with the collective efforts from all these countries, then slowly some organization getting bigger, but still they are part of South Asian Center. That is what it belongs to. We run different programs throughout the year, and also in the starting it was we run English classes, immigration classes, different supporting new immigrant people at that time. And with the time it started changing, and now we went into the advocacy and healthcare sector. We are representing a little bit of informative healthcare system under the South Asian banner. And as our community is growing in Windsor, it is close to 15,000 members from India alone. But that is a big community, and we need some kind of activities outside our box to get engaged with the mainstream communities, so that like they can understand our culture, our heritage, and what values we brought it up to Windsor, as Windsor is the 4th diverse city in Canada. And this is all about like looking into your neighbors, where they come from, learn about good thing about them, and mingle with them and make it a nicer, healthier society in Windsor.
I think there's a lot to unpack there for someone who's for the first time if they are engaging, but it's a part of the mandate, the wide scope of activities. Dilraj, I'll come to you. How would you describe your role in the organization?
So I'm the current president of the Young Adult and Youth Women's Group of the South Asian Center, and our group is very multifaceted, so I'll discuss a little bit about some of the things we do, and my VP will discuss some of the other parts. So our main proponent is really to provide tools for our members so that they can succeed academically, professionally, and personally. So we team up with local organizations such as Rotaract, which is the youth Rotary group here in Windsor, and we put on fundraisers, we have food drives, we have other volunteer events to really get our team involved. This helps engage the group and connect them with the opportunities that Windsor really has to offer.
What would you like to add to that, Gurneet?
So I'm the current VP of the Women's Young Adult Group for the South Asian community. And I just like to say that it's really important to, I think, for women of the South Asian community to have these conversations. And it's important to provide an outlet for that. I think that the communities that we come from, we, especially women, feel very restricted and don't feel like they can always open up. So it is important to be able to give them a platform for them to speak to others and to be able to speak to each other, but also the larger community as a whole.
And I think that's going to benefit everybody.
Yeah.
Right?
It does. It definitely does. Yeah.
If you're bringing the women forward, if you're empowering the women, they take care of the entire family, like the saying goes.
Yeah. Adding on to that, it's really just a space where women can really come together and they have like an outlet to talk and speak on any matter and issue that they feel that they need to expand on. We give them opportunities to improve their entrepreneur skills, their leadership skills, and most importantly, we like to give them a space where they feel like they can express themselves and really attach to their Indian identities and their backgrounds, because through being first gen, second gen, third gen, Indian American or Canadian, you really start to assimilate more into the community that's around you. So it's important to have a space where you can really stand out and tie deep into your cultural roots.
I think that's a fantastic point, and that's a big part of this podcast here as well. You know, pushing Desi culture. How I keep saying this in every episode. You know, it's about how are you engaging responsible citizens of Canada or the US or no matter where it is that you live and work in, but at the same time, you know, you're connected to the culture and you want to keep pushing it forward. And, you know, I think it's an excellent point that you made. Representation matters. Why does it matter to you?
Yeah, because the same way like we come from, as most of our in the Canada as immigrants, sometimes like you get a chance to show your strength. Like we seen it like if in the Windsor, there's a lot of doctors of Indian background. Same way you go to universities, there's a lot of professors. We are successful in businesses, but collectively, sometimes the communities don't recognize that this community is so big, they have so much talent, they have so much energy, they have a financially strong. Based on that, like we have to show to the other communities that what the good qualities we have, we brought it from, because our culture is like thousands of years old as compared to North American 400 or 500 years old culture. We've seen a lot of ups and downs. Like that way we have a knowledge, we have a strength. We want to give them something more positive so that they can either into their healthcare or to their education or to their businesses, they can be successful and get something. Same way like we need to engage politically, so that way like they can see the same way the strength, like what are the thinking way of you looking into 2 different or 3 different countries politics, and then you are trying to make a decision based on how the things are happening over there, how the things are happening here. These are different prospects. We want to bring it forward, and that is what the South Asian Center was created in early '86. And since that time, we were helping. At that time, there was a different need. Now needs and assessment are changed. Like we are working into different format. Year-round, we done a couple of different events. One is our gala for to sustain our South Asian Center. That is the only organization has it is capacity as a live office in the Windsor for last 35 years. And that is open to all the smaller community. If they want to use that office for their any board meetings or anything like small lectures, they want to do it, they are more than welcome to join our office to take advantage of that one. These are a couple of things like I want to share from the background of the South Asian Center, what they do. In that one, like we are trying to create another in between like a group. There's our senior, just like a youth group, senior groups is a part of the South Asian Center. And on top of that, like we do another healthcare info sessions that is named as a SAHAS, like whatever we say is like SA. That is what like a SAHAS.
Sahas means bravery.
No, Sahas means breath.
Oh, SAS. Oh, SAS. Excuse me. I thought you meant Sahas. Excuse me, SAS.
It is like a health South Asian Healthcare Info Info Center. And that is to provide the information to the seniors about their healthcare, mental health, and other diabetic, or we do a seminars on time to time to educate them. And along with that, we have also created another group that is a financial Institute of literacy on financial aspect of that to the seniors and to the newcomers, so that they understand, because these days there is a lot of fraud going on, and that is their way to educate them how you can be a part of the overall community and also becomes a understand what are important for you.
I want to add to that, because it's not just the South Asian Center of Windsor has not just been doing this for the senior citizens in just in the recent past. I'm it's been going on for many years. These activities have been going on for many years. I remember myself, my first experience was in 2014. I was fresh out of university in 2012, and like a couple of years, and it was one of my first gigs working with a nonprofit organization, and we worked on the documentary called Izzat to raise awareness about elder abuse in the South Asian community. So there's diverse causes like that, and it's to keep everybody together, regardless of the age and regardless of like their experiences. Like keep the community together. I'd come to you. Why does representation matter to you?
So just backtracking, another thing with all the initiatives that the South Asian Center is taking, we are starting another new committee, which is called the Political Action Committee, PAC. So Dad, do you want to describe a little bit about it, and then I'll grow off the youth aspect of it?
Yeah, we are talking to the community to have a political action committee under the banner of South Asian Center to fight for the justice, for the equality and jobs in the different way in the civic body, representation on the other forms. As I said, like we've seen a lot of doctors are working in the medical field, same way engineers and professors. But like we don't missing the portion of the political arena where we are trying to educate the people who are young generation. They want to take part. Maybe tomorrow we seen there's a lot of different South Asians are popping up on the political arena. Either we look into Canadian politics, or we can look into the US politics. So we encourage them to become a part of that one, be active in the community, so that we can see our kids grown and they can part of becomes a political arena, and they can show off their strength and make it Canada more greater.
And they see themselves being represented in the political arena. It starts with like it used to be back in movies, for example, like you'd see like one or two roles. And now the representation is growing. So representation matters.
Yeah, representation definitely matters. And a really big part of PAC is to help raise that awareness in the community and help solve the local problems in the community. So the main portion that we're taking on is really to help the women and young women to get involved in politics, because it's so important for people of color to have a voice. Especially nowadays, we want the youth to grow up and see someone that looks like them in the media, someone that looks like them that's making decisions for them, so they feel a lot more part of the process, which is just a really important thing. Just if we look recently, we see women of color getting involved in politics in Canada. We see them be MPs, MPPs, city councilors, student trustees, but we want to see them climb the ladder even higher. We want to see them hit that prime minister role. We want to see them become vice president and president. Just as recently, Kamala Harris, who's half Black and half South Asian, was picked for the Democratic ballot. That really inspired us to get even more politically engaged, because we're seeing someone who is just like us reach such a high level of office. So it's nothing less than inspiring for us to also get involved. And that's one of the main things that we want to do, is just help our community, help the women really get involved in politics so that they feel more a part of the system, so that they understand that they can make a difference. The times have changed, and even though our skin color is different than the mainstream, we have the same opportunities as them. We can rise to the greatest successes. We can become vice president. We can become president. We can really achieve any dream that we have.
Definitely. I love your passion. You can hear it in your voice. And, I think this ties up with what the initiative that's going on locally with the Diversity and Inclusion Task Force that was recently announced.
I think that is the same way, like it is as the fourth diversity in Windsor is a fourth diversity. Based on that one, like there is all diverse people coming from different backgrounds. If we can bring it to one platform and see their strength and how we can achieve more, it is good for everyone. It is not good for that group only. It is good for the city, or good for the province, good for the country. And that is what like the starting point is. You have to start engaging these different groups, like show their strength on one platform and move on. And that with that also the new generation coming to Canada, they can see that, oh, there is like something for us too. Like that way, like they jump into the different fields. based on that, oh, they can see, okay, we have a strength behind us. Like this is not something I can be objected to, like even for my color or my religion or anything. Like it cannot stop you. It gives you the opportunity to move on as much as you can, but you need to work hard. That is the part of the goal. And so they are willing to work hard. And I think it's a good initiative taken by within the city, that these kind of groups come together and make a plan to move the Windsor more upper, because you can see there's always a diversity committees at City Hall, there's a diversity committee at the police stations, like all the areas have their diversity committees, but they are not engaged by the citizens. So now this committee hopefully like encourage more people to come up and show their strength and be a part of the bigger community.
So I think that this is a great initiative to engage the diverse community that is really abundant and seen in Windsor. It's important to have advocates for the people to further educate members of the community and to show the diversity of the South Asian community. We have to remember that the South Asian community is like an umbrella term, which includes many different sub-communities that are included in the South Asian community. But we still have a lot of things in common. And so this task force, it really helps us understand that it's not so much about our differences, but it's more about the commonalities that we have, and that's what's gonna help our community grow. And this includes like our shared values, our perceptions, and our lifestyles. The task force, I believe, is really essential for the growth of the South Asian community. And it also gives South Asians the opportunity to hone their skills as they plan for their future, and allowing future generations to go towards any career path, even if it isn't one of those South Asian traditional career paths. And I think that's really important, and that's also going along with what we were talking about earlier about how representation really matters. And that's a really big, like a core focus of the youth for the women, is that we really want women to stride towards non-traditional jobs and more male-dominated jobs, just so that, and we don't really want it just to encourage them, but we also want to help push them further to go towards these goals. Because especially like even with like this podcast, like not every South Asian, not all South Asian parents would be like, oh yes, you know, like go start a podcast. And don't get me wrong, there are some parents out there that are okay with it, but it's really these kinds of representations that we need more of.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the compliment. For me, it's about starting a conversation.
Yeah.
That's the whole point here. You know, that's like you said, that's the first step. Start the conversation. Let people, let the community know that we are here. You know, we are present, and we are not just present, but we are contributing to the society. You know, as doctors, professors, engineers, in different facets and different roles across different strata of the community. You know, it's not just, like you said, the traditional South Asian jobs. We are able to make our presence felt, and this was not always like this. That's why this is so heartening to see that, like, you know, it's a sign of progress. It's a sign of the growth. It's a sign of the times. So I want to ask you guys, like, you know, the two of you, what would your moonshot goal will be for the South Asian community, for the youth, for the women? What's like your ultimate, do you think, like you said, you know, the next prime minister, the next president?
Yeah, I would love to see a South Asian president or prime minister, especially a South Asian woman. I think the main goal for us is really to help women, and we want to see women take on anything that they can. We want them to really feel motivated and feel confident and feel that they can achieve any dream that they have out there. So it's not just what's my moonshine goal. It's what's every South Asian's moonshine goal. It's whatever their dream is, that's what we want to see them accomplish.
We don't want them to feel that they have barriers and that like that they can't push to get what they want.
Exactly. They should 100% feel like they have a voice and that they're a part of the system, the community, the country,
and that they have the support that we're offering.
That's so
for
important.
Them.
You know, unity is strength, and especially in these times, it's very important that everybody stays together. Like you said, you know, it's an umbrella term, South Asian. But then there's shared values, shared customs, shared languages in many cases, right? Like across the whole the spectrum of South Asian communities. So,
yeah, even like if we look into that, the multiculturalism here, India itself is a multicultural country. If you go from one province to another province, even language changes, religion changes, attire changes, food changes. So everything is like different from one province to another province. So they are already learning that curve, and now we have to integrate into bigger or more bigger
That's a great
curve,
point.
where that like people coming from Europe, Asia, Central America, Africa, and all coming together. So now we can see the bigger strength. We can bring it together and put it on a one table, surrounding one table, and learn from them and see how we can be make a growth here. Everybody is like a brotherhood, like our sisterhood, like we are. One or the other way is related. Blood is everybody has the same, but we need to put it on the table.
I guess like a main thing for us is just seeing everybody come together as a community and really helping grow that community so that every place where there's a diverse community that lives, it is a great place to live, right? The diversity makes it a great place, and we want to see them come together even closer and really help grow their society, their economy, and that's going to happen once people use their voice, once people get involved, once people come together. And I think that's what we really want to see happen in the next couple of years.
I think you made a great point. The South Asians have a head start, so to speak, in like dealing with multiculturalism. Because like growing up, like, you know, if you were like born and raised, like say like back in the South Asian subcontinent, you know, you were so used to like speaking different languages, and not different dialects, different languages. Oftentimes people ask me if I mean dialects, and I mean no, I mean different languages. As you, like you said, if you go across from state to state in India, province to province, different languages, different attires, food, everything, it changes. It's a color palette.
And even on top of that one, we can say Indian diaspora. That means like some Indian move it to, let's say, Malaysia. Now they born in Malaysia, they come back to Canada, and now they integrating back roots to back Indian communities. And this is what like the beauty of that all the other countries people are grown. Even Africa, we've seen that people coming from Kenya, background is Indian, and how their thinking is totally different than the person from India. Like that is why like we have to bring it all together and create a more diaspora. As like other community has created like a African diaspora, we are trying to establish an Indian diaspora where like everybody is welcome to join South Asian Center. And also in the future, like our plan is to establish a South Asian Center, friendship center or diaspora center, like for all of them, where we can meet in the evening, or like we can do the cultural events together on a bigger scale, and more community can be engaged. This is our aim. In a couple of years, like a plan to establish a community center for Indian diaspora people.
An actual physical building.
Yes.
Yeah, like you see the Serbian Center, you see the Kaboto Center. So we really want to start a South Asian Center here in Windsor, and that's going to be great. We're going to hold youth programs there, women programs there. We're going to have cultural events, and it's going to be the perfect place to bring everybody together and really make our goal of having everyone's voices and coming together as a community come
Yeah,
true.
we want it to be like a welcoming atmosphere where everyone can learn together.
Definitely. Now, what are the immediate plans, you know, in the next few months, few years, like besides the center, what's on the calendar?
So it's always like engaged, like whatever the capacity we can help the community, either doing a different program for the information sessions or healthcare sessions, like these continue going through. And also like we are engaging ourselves towards the advocacy. Just like we have seen a growth of student coming to Windsor in the last 3 years. And we are trying to help them, planning a program for them to understand the culture, understand the values of Canadian system, because they are young coming into the Canada, and we giving them lectures on different items. They are more than welcome to come to our centers if they have issues with the police, they have issues with anything. Like sometimes when you come to new country, you don't know. So our doors are open for them too. We do a lot of training sessions for them year round, like when this session starts every September or May. Sometimes like during the year we can do it because they have a challenges in different field. Either it is a residency, or it is a living standards, or it is a food, or they are missing their parents. Like that way, like they can have a company of different similar peers from back home, so they can talk to them, they can share their views. And also like on the health side of seniors and other stuff, like we are planning to do is a program on mental health that is also growing bigger on the society. And another thing is like when we talk to the community, and we start doing a survey for our community center. In that one, like even I can share one thing. Like one thing is shared, like sometimes our seniors went to the either long-term care homes or the hospitals. They have an issue with the food because they eat Indian food at home, but outside when they go to the hospital, they cannot get that one. We are trying to cooperating with the hospitals and how we can provide that, fill that gap. So this is also another part of that. Before one time we started meal and wheel for 1 or 2 days to the hospital, but sometimes COVID will restrict some things. But hopefully, like it will cover up in the coming days, and hopefully we can start planning something for our seniors too, and give them some. They can enjoy the food while they are having a healthcare taken care at the hospitals. This is another initiative, or like the political action group. That is another big way we are going to working on that one, so that like our, as I said, like we have a different field, we have educated people, but we didn't see in any arena, nor political arena in Windsor especially. We can see in Toronto, bigger centers where people are engaged in politically or anything. So same way, like this action committee is creating the awareness so that we can advocacy for ourselves and to integrate them into the mainstream communities.
Yep. So going on what Dad said, our main focus is PAC right now, the Political Action Committee, and we're also trying to start a mentorship program so that young women in specific fields that they want to go into, dentistry, law, engineering, they have someone who's already gone through it to kind of mentor them through the process and have someone to really hold their hand and help them out, because a lot of us are first-gen Canadians and our parents might not have experienced what it took to get to that level. So that's another thing that we're doing. We are also talking about mental health for women. That's something that Gurneet is really passionate about.
So going along with like holding their hand and helping them through the process, something that not all of our parents understand is the mental health and the mental stress we go through. And some of our parents, because it's so stigmatized in our community, they just push it off and they're like, no, you're fine, like nothing's going on. But they don't understand sometimes the different the challenges that we face while we go through our education or go through our career paths. And I think it's really important to give women that outlet for expressing their mental well-being.
So we're trying to start like workshops and having like, right now because of COVID we can't really meet, so we're trying to do some Zoom stuff, but hopefully in the next couple of months our office can open back up and we can meet with them, and then further on hopefully we can have regular sessions at the community center. But those are our main goals for right now.
Yeah, fingers crossed, man. Like, it's the post-COVID, all the organizations, everyone that we were talking to, like, regardless, everyone's adapting on the fly. Like, it's a new.
Everything is changing. Like we have to adopt that one. It is may stays there, like COVID is not like gone, but it may stay for a couple of years. Like some norms we have to change, then we can be adopted that way. That is why like some of the things get more important, especially like a loneliness within the seniors or the younger generation coming to new to the country. Like then at least there is you can giving them awareness and also engaging them one or the other way, even it is electronic media or the social media. Like that is what part of becomes our daily lifestyle. And I would also like to, if anybody from Windsor or Essex would like to need more information or join us, like they can join us on they can go to our website at southasiancenter.ca, or we have a Facebook page too under South Asian Center, and we have a official address at 4045 Seminole Street in Windsor. We have an office. It runs Monday and Thursday, 2 to 5. It's mostly open. If they need any kind of help, they can call us at 519-252-7447. We are all sides are open. Like they can leave a message, we can call them back, and this is what all ways we can left it for connecting with the community.
Thank you so much for coming on to the show, guys. This was very informative. I'm so glad. I'm so happy to hear about all these different initiatives for different age groups. Good luck.
Thank you.
And good luck for all the fantastic work that you guys are doing. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Pushing Desi Culture, the podcast. Please note there will be the second part following this podcast where I will be playing a live mix of eclectic South Asian music coming up right after this. Thanks for watching.